Welcome. Welcome once again to the Radical Imagination. I'm your host, Jim Vrettos, and I'm a sociologist who's taught at John Jay College of Criminal Justice and Yeshiva University here in New York. The notion of a global fashion industry is a product of the modern age. Prior to the mid-19th century, most clothing was custom or handmade. By the beginning of the 20th century, with the rise of new technologies like the sewing machine, the expansion of a global capital market, the development of factory systems of production, growth of retail outlets such as department stores, clothing increasingly came to be mass-produced and become an international and highly globalized, hugely profitable industry. Fashion is also seen as a popular aesthetic and creative expression that involves clothing, footwear, lifestyle, accessories, makeup, hairstyle, body proportions, and so on. It's often connected to cultural and social movements and social markers, intertwined with symbols such as class, age, gender, identity, ethnicity, sexuality, ecological concerns, politics, and race. Furthermore, the fashion world has events like Fashion Week, which is tied to fashion seasons and collections. That, in turn, acts as an expression of what is supposedly the latest style and of what people should be wearing. Should people take this seriously? Isn't it mainly about fun and beauty, entertainment, performance, and artistic self-expression? Does fashion matter? Should it? The French sociologist, philosopher Henri Lefebvre, in his critique of everyday life, defines our everyday lives as the intersection of illusion and truth, power and helplessness, the intersection of the sector man controls and the sector he does not control. He warns that without revolutionizing everyday life, capitalism and the market system it represents would continue to diminish the quality of everyday life, inhibit real self-expression, and keep us from reaching a concrete utopian existence. Fashion, style, and art are at the center of this intersection. Worlds of illusion, truth, power, vulnerability. Is Lefebvre onto something? Or is he unnecessarily making too much of the whole phenomenon? In a recent letter to the editor, a reader disagreed with the New York Times chief fashion editor, Vanessa Friedman's assertion that wearing a black bra under a white blouse, as the title character in the TV show Madam Secretary does, is an important feminist statement, a reminder of our right to choose. The writer remarks that as a painter, she thinks of one's clothing as similar to a painting's frame, there to bring attention to the art or wearer, as the case may be. She asks a question: do I want others to be distracted by a cry of freedom as obvious as a child's wearing pajamas to a party? She argues further that women must be confident to draw attention to what they think and do rather than to a detail of clothing, one that serves only to distinguish them from their non-bra wearing male counterpart. Too many articles in your newspaper, as well as in every other, give political commentary on public figures' attire, mainly women's. She concludes by saying, isn't it time to concentrate on their character and intelligence instead? We're thrilled to have on the Radical Imagination show today a father and son who are fast becoming major voices in the world of art, fashion, and design. Clarence Ruth is a native New Yorker who, after earning a fashion degree, has gone on to work for Andrew Buckley, Ralph Lauren, Tom Ford, and GQ magazine. You can see his work in a brilliant new book he's created called Colors de la Runway, a beautifully crafted work that is smart, stylish, and witty, and introduces children to the colors of the rainbow in both English and French. Clarence has used each expressive line drawing to illustrate a unique look from a major designer or brand that has graced the most prestigious runways. He attempts to connect the vibrant hues and dynamic clothing sketches to delight and teach both kids and adults who love color, pattern, fashion, and design. Also on the show is Clarence's son, Christian, who even at the tender age of 4 is an already experienced and renowned child model, yes you are, on the runway and in the industry. Welcome, Clarence and Christian, to the Radical Imagination. Welcome, Christian.
Thank you for having me.
How you doing? It's
Doing
great to have you here. Can't wait to talk to you about this fascinating topic.
Yeah.
Should we start with Christian and some of his work?
Yeah.
Because you're going to be in a Ralph Lauren production?
Yes.
Is that correct?
So, Christian have done quite a bit of work for Ralph Lauren.
Before.
He's done quite a bit of campaigns, ads, commercials. And so, HBO has this new documentary coming out about Ralph Lauren's career, his 50 years in fashion and his influence in fashion. And as part of that, a lot of the campaigns that Christian have done will be
I think he's doing part of the show right now.
Yeah.
Actually, I know we have a couple of clips of you as well, which we're going to be putting on in just a few minutes. Yeah. So he's been doing this, taking over the show, which is great, wonderful. So it's okay. So he's been doing this since how old?
So he started at the age 2. And so when we moved back to New York, so at the age 2 he started, and then just took off from there. I mean, he started off doing a Gap shoot, and then from there he
became the face
of Gap Kids.
Kids.
His first shoot, which was amazing. Yeah. And then from there, I mean, it just took off. I mean, started getting calls, started getting emails, and yeah, he's been doing great. You've been
having fun with this, right? Christian, it's been a lot of fun. Looks like you're having a lot of fun. I wonder if we have a couple of clips that we can show with Christian and some of his work here.
I thought my favorite color is red. I like art. One day, I take a picture of my cookies. Goodbye.
Hello. Back to school with Christian. What do you think? And you actually wear this stuff when you go to school? When you're going to prepare to go to school?
Do you wear the clothes when you go to school? That you wear in the Ralph Lauren?
Some of them. Okay. So it's good stuff. Well, he takes to the camera, and it's just incredible. And
it's very interesting on how he comes on, and when the camera comes on, how he just switches up. It's one of the most amazing things. I know I modeled before, but to see him at his age kind of understand what's going on and kind of make that change, and I mean, it's just the most amazing thing to me at that age.
It is, and we're going to get to your modeling and your work here too. But I know we've had dinner, and he could just be, quiet and playing around, and then you'll take him aside and say, "I want to take a picture of you," and then it's just like now. Totally. So as I was saying before the show, if the Yankee manager, Aaron Boone, had somebody on the bench that he could just say, "Go on in and hit a home run," you'd want Christian. Christian hits a home run. All you do is send him in there, and it's a home run.
That's what we call clutch.
Clutch. All right. Well, listen, it really is terrific and wonderful how you've managed to create this obviously beautiful child who is not pretentious and ego's not in it here and stuff like that. And I know your wife is been tremendous as well
Oh,
in
yeah.
raising such a wonderful child.
Yeah, thank you so
We'll
much.
look forward to his career as he goes on.
Oh, for sure, and I'm super intrigued in where it's going to go as well.
Right.
You know, because as you grow, you know, you change. You know, so I'm interested in seeing, you know, what he's going to be, you know, interested in as he grows.
Yeah, and as you're so familiar with the industry and fashion, as he grows, as you say, there's
Yeah.
got to be other people looking at him and what they perceive he might be in the future, or how to use his talents and his.
For sure. Yeah.
So I imagine you're well versed.
I
in
mean,
all this.
for fashion.
Tell us a little about that. So
In fashion,
how that
it's-
works.
It's all about trend forecasting, and that goes across the line, right? That goes with collections, that goes with color, that goes with models, that goes
something forecasting. What did you
trend forecasting.
trend? Okay. All right.
Yes. And pretty much what that is being able to kind of do your research and read and kind of predict what the trend is going to be next season or the season before that, or the season before that. And in fashion, this is very, very important. This is kind of the center, because everyone's trying to figure out what is going to be that next thing that people kind of connect to and going to want to buy.
And they do this, right? They have the fall season
Yes.
is when they present the spring clothes.
Yes.
Then
Yes.
the spring, so
Yes.
is the
So
fall.
pretty much they're
So you got
presenting
a few months.
yes, exactly, for the next season. But with the trend forecasting, what I was saying is they do that with everything. So even with models, they're like, okay, what's going to be the type of model next season that people are going to be interested in or going to connect to? So right now, you know, Christian is pretty much in the kids category, pretty
Right.
much has that he's the trend right now for the young kids, you know. So kind of like the mix,
yeah.
you know, mixed race, and they're getting into that, the mixed race, and
And then when he's what, 5 or 6 or 7,
yeah, 5 or 6.
you're going to be moving on. To,
Yeah. 5 or 6 is a very important time in kid modeling, because at that point in time, that's where they get into the stage of movies, commercials. They're able to, you know, read certain scripts and things. That's a really crucial time for
Right.
child models. Yeah.
That was a famous interview with Johnny Carson and Drew Barrymore. I don't know if you saw
Oh,
it.
when she was younger.
5 or 6, I don't
Yeah,
know how
yeah,
old she
yeah,
was,
yeah.
and just blew people away.
Yeah.
And took out her front teeth
Yeah.
and stuff. I mean, it just, your heart melted, and that was it. And she's been
Yeah.
the star ever since. So you never
yeah.
know what happens here and stuff.
Yeah.
So, so listen, I think Christian's going to take a little break.
Yeah.
We're okay, and you can watch the show. Daddy and I are going to finish the show here, and we're gonna have a clip on Fashion Takes a Stand from Fashion TV, which is something very new, right? There's
Yes.
a TV show, or is it a channel, Fashion Channel?
Yeah, so Fashion TV, it's been around for a little while now, but what it does is it focuses on, you know, mostly the runway shows of fashion. It follows all the designers, and mainly through the runway shows during Fashion Week.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they also explore the politics
Yes,
of fashion and how you can predict these trends, I guess, or how
For sure.
You could, okay.
yeah, trend forecasting. Yeah.
Trend for okay.
Yeah.
And so Christian, I tell you what, listen, you're welcome to stay if you'd like. We're gonna take it's gonna be about a 3-4 minute clip. You can stay or you can cut out and just watch us in the studio. Up to you. Okay? So right now we're gonna have a clip from Fashion TV. Fashion Takes a Stand.
In a time of political unrest, fall 2017 saw many in the fashion world using their craft to react to current events around the globe. Top industry players had much to say about the politically charged and socially conscious season.
The beauty of fashion is that it's a mirror of our culture. and designers really translate what's going on around us.
We're seeing sometimes a bit of negativity on the runway with everything politically that's happening, and people using the runway as a place to post their point of view, positive or otherwise, many times negative.
These are very unusual times, and a lot of people, they're sort of trying to process everything, and their way of doing that is through their work and through their clothes. So I'm not sure that I would necessarily call it political as much as I might just call it therapy.
I just came from Pavel Gurung's show where the models all had really fantastic, simple white message t-shirts on.
I went to the Women's March in New York and I wanted to capture that essence of what I felt and bring it there and make it palpable for people.
People cannot deny it's a mountain of women protesting around the world. We really have to fight for women's rights, but we need to fight for all human rights. Let's show it and give strength also to the people that has a lower voice.
We saw women marching and it just kind of energized us.
We just wanted to add that kind of positive way of doing empowerment, kind of seeing women march but with a smile on their face, just being like their own type of warrior.
Bring change with energy through colors in a way.
I always think fashion really reflects what's going on in the world. And I really wanted this to exemplify the idea of strength, but strength with a lot of sensuality and a lot of opulence.
We're seeing this idea of a very confident woman on many of the New York runways. It's not about making a statement that's splashed across the clothes. It's making a statement when you wear the clothes that you wear them and you wear them with great confidence. And that's really what beauty is all about.
I feel like everyone needs a brightening up lately, and this is a great way to do it with makeup, just having fun, being playful, and not caring what anyone thinks.
Look at my team, look at the people I employ. It's diversity, it's women of color, and it's inclusive, and that's what's really important right now. I know fashion can sometimes be narrow-minded, but for me, it is always about different people.
We all have a responsibility to be accountable for the way that we perceive other people that may be vulnerable or include or not include people. Seeing as we have a platform during London Fashion Week, it's our small opportunity to start a conversation.
I think fashion's role in a major way right now is shining our light on how we put out what beautiful is. And to me, beautiful is a wide spectrum of diversity. Beautiful encompasses all women.
Identity is the heart of fashion, and it's what makes fashion so transformative and gives us the potential to transform communities, transform people's thinking about each other and themselves. All of that is possible by what you wear.
I think fashion designers have an incredible responsibility because young people listen to them, so it's important that they communicate and they say what they think and they stand for what they believe in.
These forms of art, whether it's music or arts or fashion, it's a way of uniting us and connecting us, whereas in many ways we might be divided. This is an opportunity to connect in a way that is not anybody's side.
No matter your political view, it was clear that people had an opinion and they wanted it to be heard.
Fashion and all of this, we don't live outside of politics. And so it's really for each one of us to decide how much of an activist we want to be, what will we stand up for.
Wow. There's a lot there to unpack.
A whole lot.
A whole lot.
Yeah.
I mean, one gigantic theme was women and identification with the Women's March. Just tell us what you take from that. How do you respond to some things that are going on there?
I just think that...
And in your own work, too.
Yeah, I just think that as an artist, as a creator, I think that we all want to express ourselves. At the end of the day, we're people, right? We have different beliefs, things that we believe in, things that we don't believe in. And obviously, our work, that's going to be seen through our work because it's an emotional thing, right? So that's what you're seeing with these people. The fashion industry, the makeup of the fashion industry is mostly women.
Really?
It's mostly women. You see most of the makeup artists are women. Most of the models are women. Most of the people that
Is that the case? Is that fairly recently? I understand. No. Okay.
Not at all. I mean, the men's influence that's coming in has been growing tremendously. So you have a large influence of men, but it's always been a
woman-dominated industry.
Oh yeah, for sure. So now that we're in a time where it's trending to kind of speak out about what you believe on, especially women's rights. It's everyone's taking that stance. A lot of them. I'm not gonna say everyone, but a lot of designers are taking a stance and expressing how they feel about the issue.
So it's a give and take, like we were talking about everyday life. As the artist, the designer, as you observe what's going on around the world, your own self-expression takes into account and becomes reflected in that work.
Yes.
And as a, I don't know if you want to call it your politics or social conscience, or what would you call it?
I mean, social conscience. But I think it's something where it's like, especially when you're on a public platform where it's going to be seen. In this day and time, you have to be very careful what you say or how you express things.
Right.
On the runway through fashion, it's a little bit safer to speak what you want to say in certain boundaries because it's a form of art, right? So people are a little bit open-minded when it comes to art. When you're looking at a canvas, in a museum, and
they want to see something different.
Yes, something provocative is going to make you stop and think and look at it and say, "Whoa, what's going on here?" And whether you agree with it or not, it's still art at the end of the day, and you appreciate it for the art, right? So in fashion, it's kind of like that same difference, right? So these designers, these creators, when they're speaking on a political, going in a political direction or want to speak on a certain issue, they have that kind of grace of that, it's art too. So I can
get away with some stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, maybe a silly question, but the idea of a runway, what is that about? Where did that come from? This idea that people come trooping out there and exhibit themselves. I mean, what is that about? What is a runway? I mean,
so now it's the runway. Way back in the day, centuries ago, they used to. That's how they presented the collection. Nowadays, you have social media, you have books, you have catalogs, you have all types of things that you can kind of deliver your. Back then, they didn't have all that. So what they would do is they would invite people to come and they will present the collection in the form of being on the body, walking out, you see it, and then you have pen and paper and you write down, hey, what you want to buy. And that's kind of how the system went. Now it has transitioned to a point of the runway where it's almost like a spectacle, a performance, a show.
I mean, anybody who's been to Fashion Week here in New York City, I mean, that is just hot stuff.
It's really nowadays where back then it was really a point to sell, right? It was that direct point to sell. Now it's
a phenomenon.
Yeah, but it's more marketing.
Marketing.
It's a more marketing. You want to be on the biggest stage. You want to be talked about alongside these big names like Ralph Lauren and Tom Ford, and Gucci.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be alongside. How do you do that? I have to present during Fashion Week on the same stage that they're on, right? If you want international recognition, you have to be.
But basically, you're talking about Milan and Paris,
all of them,
London, and
New York,
like Big Four.
New York, the Big Four. If you're showing in New York, the press is going to be. In Milan, it's going to be,
you're on the
in
roll.
Paris. Oh yeah, so
it's like Christian there. You get
exactly.
You get started. It's
exactly.
Who knows where it leads? How did you get into this? I mean, how did your work get shown? We opened with the show in China there, for example.
Well, the China project was very interesting. I specialize in denim. I have a brand that's based out of New York called Coat d'Arms, and it's all denim based. The whole mindset behind Coat d'Arms is to approach denim out the box, to approach it with a different mindset than what.
So we're not talking about the Levi's.
No.
No.
totally
Okay. I'm
totally
dating myself.
different.
That
yes.
was all right.
Yes.
That's where I always used to wear.
Yes, yes, and most people, you know,
Wrangler, Lee.
Yeah.
But Levi's was the the best of that group.
And most denim is based off Levi's.
Okay.
Me, I came in, I said, okay, if I'm going to do this, what is going to be my mark in this industry as far as denim? You know, how I'm going to make a difference as far as denim. And for me, I felt.
Why'd you pick denim? Just for the curiosity.
Well, you know, I was actually approached to do denim by, you know, a financial partner at the time.
Okay.
It wasn't necessarily my focus and what I wanted to do.
Just happened.
But yeah, so it just happened. But I really feel that, you know, for me, approaching denim with a different mindset out the box was the way to come in and kind of set myself apart.
Okay, so how did you begin to do that? You saw these old Levi's things.
So it's kind of like going and doing trend forecasting, doing my research, seeing, you know, what are all these denim brands doing, what's similar to this denim brand or that denim brand and this denim brand, and it kind of all looked the same to me, and the only difference was the label. And I was like, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to change, you know, the experience of how you put on jeans and how it fit. So my design of coat de arms, you put them on and they fit like a pair of slacks, like dress pants.
Okay, so not as stiff, or is that what you're sort of?
What I mean is like it has a hook and bar closure, and you know, so it kind of has a different experience. Also, the look is
did
different
Gloria
as well.
Vanderbilt come out with that, with some jean stuff?
It
centering the butt.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But it's
so that was
so
the
technical.
Trend that she was forecasting.
Yes, it's so technical and so much you can do with fabric. And for me, I decided to take that direction instead of doing what Levi's and Wrangler and all these brands have done.
If I could just add something else in this. So with all the ecological awareness, denim, Levi's would last a long time. Are you also thinking about that with your social conscience? Something that's durable, that's going to be lasting, sustainable product and so on, that can be circular and not just buy it, then the next season you have to buy some more and throw it. So you think, okay, so go, all right.
So for me, that was very important.
Okay.
You know, coming into the denim world is so large and so competitive. I didn't want to reach the mass market. I said, you know, I want to do something that's going to last longer, that has a higher quality, you know, that you'll be able to wear anytime. That surpass seasons.
And anytime meaning in a variety of social situations?
Variety of social situations.
Go to a concert.
Yes.
Go to class.
Going to a meeting.
Going to a meeting, a business meeting?
Yes, different seasons. You can wear it in fall, winter. You can wear it in spring, summer.
Okay.
You know, that was my goal, to create something that, you know, you can kind of wear anytime. So for me, that was of importance.
Wow. And so through your work, now this is the book that you've come out with. It's just gorgeous, beautiful.
Thank you
Colors
so much.
de la Runway.
Yes.
So tell us a little, let me pass this on to you. You tell us what you want us to know about that book. How did this come into being here?
You know, I had a few different inspirations behind why I created this book. Christian being one, obviously. But for me, I realized in fashion, on a certain level, fashion is so much on a high quality level. It has to be of luxury. It's serious at times. You've seen in the video where they're speaking about serious issues and this and that and that and this.
But a lot of the clothes are fun too.
Yeah, it's fun and visually fun.
Okay.
Visually fun. Okay, so when you're looking at it, you see bright colors.
Right.
You see that they're putting on a show and people are dancing down the runway. But at the end of the day, you know, it's a serious business, right? And they're trying to sell, you know, serious garments. For me, I realized through this, we can be educating through this. You know, having a kid, you know, we have beautiful things on our coffee table and that we don't want him to touch, and you know, beautiful artwork around the house that we're like, no, don't touch this, don't touch that. And for me, I was like, you know what, we can be educating through these things. So I wanted to kind of merge those two worlds and create a book that can educate children, but at the same time, be attractive to adults.
Educate them in terms of design and colors.
Yes. So through design, you have all these different elements that can teach. You have colors.
Right.
You have shapes. You have design. You have
different
patterns,
characters that are being portrayed here as the models.
So for me, what I did is I illustrated different characters, as you said, different characters that represent a different color. And what I did is I took real designers, real fashion houses, and I took different looks from their collections, and I picked a certain look that represented a certain color, and I illustrated that in
for you,
my own
obviously,
expression.
for you, for your own feelings about that particular color.
Exactly.
However you got to that decision
exactly
is maybe somewhat of a mystery in your own mind.
Yes.
Okay, the artistic process.
For sure.
All right.
And within that, the illustrations as well. Some of them I had it where it's hard for you to tell if it's a male or female.
And you'll show us some of this. As you're talking, I think you've been over at the house. Our apartment. My grandfather was, among other things, a portrait painter.
Yes.
He was trained in Germany, and then he went to Paris. And when he came here, he did a lot of portraits.
Yes.
And I remember him taking me to the Frick Museum, which was I don't know where, Midtown and Fifth Avenue, and there was a lot of rich nobility and portraits of. And I said, it's sort of boring, and it's sort of the same old people that are just there to impress other people, the fact that they're there. Rembrandt, of course, was an artist that, in a way, democratized art and painted more common people and everyday people and so on. It seems like that's what you're also reaching out to do. Because after all, fashion, in a sense, was first a concern of the nobility, of the rich. I mean, that's the ones.
True.
I mean, the peasants were out in the field there.
Very true.
Whatever, picking potatoes or something.
Yeah.
So, they weren't going to be wearing suits and ties.
Yeah.
So, all right. So show the audience a bit about the work here.
So, I mean, for me, it's a few things in here that, I really wanted to kind of, express through here.
All right.
And one being, color.
Okay.
Obviously. Right now, we're dealing a lot in our society with color, right? Black and white, Latino, having equal rights and things of that nature. And in fashion, this has been an issue as well in the past. Now, right now, I think fashion is in its best time with that, because you see the most models of color walking up and down the runway. Most shows you see models of color, where I would say probably 5-10 years ago, there were some shows where you didn't see not one model of color walk down the runway.
Right.
So for me, I decided not to put any color skin tone on the illustration, if you notice.
Yes.
And what I want to do is draw attention to the subject color, which is brown.
Brown.
So I didn't want people to really.
Hold that up. So, I think we can see that. Yeah. So brown. Now, which designer is that?
This one right here is Marnie.
Okay.
Yeah, and through all of these Balenciaga, but you can see there's no skin tone there. There's no skin tone.
No skin tone. Okay. And the reason for that, again, in your mind, what you want to get across there, is it what? It shouldn't matter, doesn't matter, or what?
One, it shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't matter.
But two, I didn't want anyone to try to figure out who and what this model is. Is this model Latino? Is this model white? Is this model black?
Unimportant.
In the character.
In a sense.
Unimportant, right? The focus is the color, and that every color is beautiful.
Okay.
And my whole saying behind this book is that, every color in its own way is beautiful.
But you're using colors not on the skin, but in terms of what they're wearing.
Exactly. Exactly. And showing how each color is extremely beautiful.
Can bring beauty to whoever is wearing it.
Exactly. And together inspires our world. So for me, I decided I didn't want to have people focus, because in the time right now, this is a focus right now. You know, oh, what are you? Your skin tone, and things of that nature. And for me, I wanted to kind of bring a different perspective on that and totally take the color out.
Ironically, you're responding to a period in our history, well, throughout our history, where race has played such a powerful, often negative role.
Yes.
For obviously people of color.
Yes.
And so on. So you're trying to help us deal with that trauma in this way.
In a way.
In this way. And to de-emphasize color and our common humanity.
Yes.
And then making a remark about really how stupid and counterproductive it is for us to make such a big deal of it.
Yes.
Am I getting this? Or
Yes, you're getting it. And then also, I felt it was very important, because what we do and not really realize what we're doing is we influence our kids.
Okay, so that's where the children part. So that's why Christian can pick this up and learn, right?
And learn and not think about skin tone at all. Oh, this girl is black. This girl is white. Or this and that and this. Or what we perceive as, oh, this color is more beautiful than that color. No.
Which helps him deal with his own mixed background and the world out there, which is becoming more and more like that.
Exactly.
Okay, and so, and also giving an appreciation of style, different styles, different expressions of what one could wear.
Yes.
So that gets us into focusing. Well, it's interesting. Focusing not only on the wearer, but on what that person is wearing.
Exactly.
Now, okay, now. These are expensive clothes, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's get into that a little bit.
Yes, very expensive clothes at the end of the day.
A typical, I don't know, whatever we just saw running down the runway there would cost what?
I mean,
we're talking thousands, right?
Thousands, yeah. I mean,
so who's going to be able to really buy that? And what happens to this after Fashion Week? I mean, how does this... What happens? Does this get then mass produced in a way that becomes cheaper for all, or how does that work?
I mean,
as a business,
it's
Here we go again. Yeah, here's
it obviously gets mass produced, depending on how big your brand is and how much you're selling per season. But it's very important. It's also important.
So take a look here. We've got this the Dirty Pineapple.
Yes.
So what is this right here? This is an overcoat.
This is an overcoat. This is an overcoat here.
Overcoat.
I designed this overcoat where it's half and half. It's two different wool fabrics that I utilize, and I decided to represent that by having one half of it.
So this is your work here.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So I pretty much designed. I'm creative director of a brand out of China called Dirty Pineapple. And it's actually a startup brand. And this is our first show in New York Fashion Week. We just showed the second show this past Fashion Week. But it's a Chinese brand. Everything is produced in China.
I've never been to next season. Can I go to one of these?
Sure.
I'd love to. Okay.
Sure.
Dirty Pineapple. Okay.
It's interesting.
Yeah, look at this.
Because they actually hired me to elevate and to design the clothing in a way that will attract the Western customer.
The Chinese company that you work,
so
to Westernize it more.
Yes. So in China, they have this mindset that, the Westerns design high quality, high level product.
Right.
You know, and they buy high quality products.
The Chinese elites, those who can afford it.
Yeah. So they feel that, hey, if I can design to attract, you know, that customer, then, you know, we be considered high quality luxury.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. As we're just watching this here now, what are you thinking about too in terms of sexuality here? I mean, so much of
with this particular brand, it's interesting that you asked that question. With this particular brand, part of the mission and part of what they wanted to express with their brand was pretty much approaching the industry sexless.
Really?
Every single piece of clothing that you seen walking down that runway was unisex.
Okay, there was
Everything.
one that was a little, you know, midriff and
Everything.
shorts. Okay,
Everything
was
unisex.
Okay.
Everything. Even the underwear that are designed for them is unisex underwear.
So that's what they are hoping the trend will be.
Yes.
They're marketing that.
Yes.
They're hoping.
And
they're putting their money on that.
Yes. And not just that, but again, you know, they're trying to put a message out there that the world would be better sexless, without saying, hey, this is a male and this is a female, and being, you know, having that whole thing.
Okay. Now, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
So we're talking about China now,
Yes.
which calls itself, what is it? It's really still politically a dictatorship.
Yes,
but
for sure.
They're talking about now a capitalistic market.
Yeah.
How truly democratic do they want it? I mean, who is really deciding this? Business elites are getting the okay from the political elites? Okay, let's go this way. I mean, is that
I think
who gets the ear of who makes these decisions?
I think most of the decisions,
or in our country too, for that matter.
Yeah, I think most of the decisions in China are made obviously from the elite, the
political class.
Yeah, the political class. But I think that the working people,
right?
I think some of these people, from my understanding of dealing with these people and speaking with them, is a bit, you know, they a bit frustrated and
right.
you know, of what's going on, and they're expressing how they feel. This particular brand, it's two young women, you know, that want to express how they feel about, you know, their government, you know, how things been ran. Not just that, but the society, you know, how
the sexual norm.
Yeah, and they want to express themselves.
And so in a way, China, it's not too long ago, of course, we were thinking of Chairman Mao, and it was a pretty regimented society, you know, wearing pretty much the same outfits.
Yeah.
So now this is opening up. Do you see people on the streets of in the Chinese cities wearing stuff like this?
Oh, for sure. I mean, you know, it's
among the young people, sort of.
It's mainly
bohemian, artistic.
Mainly the younger crowd, the ones that's kind of have been, you know, open to social media and things of that nature, and you know, but the younger crowd in China is very different than the older.
I bet.
Very. I mean, it's night and day.
I would think the older would have some issues with this.
Yeah, I mean, somewhat so, you know, where the younger...
But the money more is with the young people.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
The younger generation have more of an open mindset.
Right.
They're you know, because the older...
More internationalist.
Yeah, I mean, because, you know, social media wasn't there when these older people... So they didn't have access to all these things, you know, where now you have access to almost everything. Like, if you want to see something, you can see it. You know, you pull it up, you can see it. So I think the younger generation now in China has a little more of an open mindset. They're trying to travel more. They're trying to do more. Because it is now, that affects their mindset on how they see their society, where they live, their government, and where they live. And now they want to speak out about it.
Bring us to our country here. How would you bring that collection to some young people today? The Gretas and the the climate extinction people,
Yeah.
some of the people we've had on the show here, are they, I would think, would be very attracted to wearing rebellious sort of clothes too.
Yeah.
How would you work this into a young generation here?
I think it's the same thing here. It's the same difference here. I think.
Would you have a market for it? Well, not only would you have a market, would you have investors, would people making these financial decisions to go ahead with it?
Oh, for sure.
No,
I mean,
right,
there's
right.
brands out there right now that's making these different stance, and you've seen a lot of them on the video.
Or does some of these styles also just sort of organically grow, like sort of the, I'm thinking like the hippie generation, okay,
Well,
and then which got pretty much the style that got co-opted.
Well, I think it's I think it's a mixture blend of it all.
Right.
Less of it kind of just happening, because like I told you in the beginning, trend forecasting. You have people that are paid to trend forecast.
Right.
Vogue magazine, they have people paid to trend forecast. In different brands, they
And
have
Vogue
people
Teen too, right? So
yeah. I mean, all of this. So what these
Right.
people are doing is they're literally setting up what's going to be the next trend, and basing it off of that. And what we're doing as customers is we're on our phone or social media and looking through magazines, and we're looking at what they're saying going to be the next style, and we're following it. Now, at times, they do have things that just happens to become, this trend, this thing that everyone is just decide to
It
jump
just happens,
on.
some
Yes, it just
spontaneous
happens.
thing that goes viral. Who knows?
Yeah, for right now, streetwear, it just happened.
And what's this what's it called? Unzipped? Not the unzipped. I mean the shirt that you wear.
Untucked?
Untucked.
Yeah. I mean, all this different.
Is that like a big deal?
I mean, all of it.
Right.
I mean, tucked is in as well, but
That may be out by next. I still tuck in.
I mean, it's a trend thing. It might be in now, and then next month it's not. It's you have one of these things, but I think that the streetwear has just came and kind of took the industry by storm, and now you have all these luxury brands that would never ever even try to approach the street market.
Would have thought of it.
Oh yeah.
And now they're on board.
I mean, because that's where the money is. That's where the young people are buying.
God, the time is going too fast.
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
but we still got a couple. What did they do with Michelle Obama? I mean, if you remember.
Yes.
That famous, what was it, New Yorker cartoon, and then
Yeah.
the militant and the So what do you want to say? They toned her down.
Yeah.
She had organic vegetable. I don't mean to, sound flippy about this.
Yeah.
So, what is the industry's place in deciding style or political stability, or how they want people to see the leaders and the authority figures? By the way, and also men, right? A lot of our uniforms, literally uniforms, came from the military.
Yeah.
Right? And I know this, we got to.
Yes.
You look incredible here.
Thank you so much.
I tell my audience here, I am not going to be probably wearing something like this in the near. Who knows? Maybe I'll surprise somebody in a few, I don't know, a couple. But anyway, in just a couple minutes that we have, you want to comment on that and the statements that we want our authority figures to have, our men.
I just feel that we
military camouflage outfits.
Just based on history, I think that we have a mindset of how things should be and what we should wear in certain settings.
Okay.
And when you have someone that comes in and changes that, like a Michelle Obama, she went into the White House and she's wearing different stuff that we've never seen any first lady wear.
She got put down.
Yeah, your first reaction is like, whoa, what is she doing? Because that's not the norm, right?
And she started wearing Jackie Kennedy. Well, not quite.
Yeah,
yeah. Chanel or whatever.
And you have people that come and do this. Excuse me.
Yeah.
That come in and do this, and these people are the people that change our perception on certain things, just because they're going in a different direction and making us see things differently. And so for me, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing.
It's a pull and tug. It's a pull and tug.
Yeah.
And interaction. you've really helped us understand this a lot more, and I really want to thank you, Clarence. It's really been a thrill. Christian is just adorable. I mean, he's just the best. And,
He's my partner.
He's your partner. And unfortunately, again, we've got to go. Let's again show our audience the book, Colors de la Runway.
Yeah.
It's fabulous. It's really interesting. Get it for your kids, with your kids, if you don't have kids. And thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having us.
All right. We'll see you again very soon. And again, thank you so very much. This is Jim Vrettos saying goodbye for the Radical Imagination.